This piece of plastic is just 85.6 millimeters long, and it's quietly reshaped how we think about money.
It seems simple, but this little rectangle has changed the way we spend, save, and even feel about our purchases, often without us even realizing it.
Last week, I ran a little experiment. I bought the same lunch twice. Once with cash, once with a card. Same sandwich, same overpriced sparkling water, same impulse buy cookie. But here is the weird part. When I paid with cash, I actually hesitated. I almost put that cookie back. I mean, I didn't. I deserved that cookie, but it was close. With the card, however, no hesitation. Tap, done. I'm Jenny, and today we're diving into why swiping a card feels so different from spending actual money. Spoiler alert, how we pay really does shape how we feel, and cards have changed the game. Stick around because by the end of this, you'll never look at your wallet the same way again. Why paying with a card feels different. Okay, let's talk about something researchers call the pain of paying. It's not just a dramatic phrase, it's actually backed by neuroscience. Back in 2007, researchers at MIT scanned people's brains while they made real purchases. When someone paid with cash, the brain's pain center, the insula, it lit up, like physically. But when they paid with a card, that pain response mostly disappeared. Same item, different experience. Scientists call this payment decoupling, because with cash, you feel the cost immediately, but with the card, the payment happens in a future that your brain hasn't even caught up to yet. Oh, that's future Jenny's problem.
Let's rebalance the portfolio and set aside funds for Q4. Also, who spent $32 on novelty ice cube bolts?
Those are for a friend.
Security. Take her.
Oh no, but wait, I want to be you. The point is, cards change not just how we spend, but how we feel when we spend. And once you notice that shift, you can start using it to your advantage. The casino figured this out 80 years ago. You want to know who figured out the psychology of abstract money before anyone else? Casinos. Of course it was casinos. In the 1940s, casinos realized people gambled way more with chips than with cash. When players used chips, they were more willing to spend because chips created a sense of distance from real money. And there's actually a term for this: monetary abstraction. The more steps you put between a person and their actual money, the easier it becomes to spend. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. And before you know it, you're tipping with tokens. The credit card was invented by accident. The credit card has the most delightfully awkward origin story. In 1949, a businessman named Frank McNamara went to dinner in New York, ordered his meal, ate it, and then realized he forgot his wallet. This is already my nightmare, but it gets better. He had to call his wife to bring money while he sat there, trapped by his own appetite. He was so embarrassed that he invented the Diners Club card, the world's first credit card, just so this would never happen again. First Diners Club card was made of cardboard. Cardboard, yes. 200 people signed up in the first year. By year 2, 20,000 people had one. Apparently, Frank wasn't the only one who'd suffered from a forgotten wallet. Actually, in the 1950s and 1960s, having a charge card showed prestige. Despite high demand, Diners Club initially limited cards to a few hundred select customers.
When Diners Club launched in 1950, it wasn't a bank, it was essentially a bill settlement service.
Cardholders didn't have a revolving line of credit like we think of today. Instead, Diners Club paid the restaurant, then billed the customer at the end of the month. And that meant if customers didn't pay, Diners Club itself would just eat the loss. Literally, because food. But here's what's fascinating. Even though it was invented to solve a practical problem, McNamara thought he was solving a convenience issue, but he actually created a spending psychology revolution. But wait until you hear about what's behind that little ding when you tap your card. The science of the swipe. Listen to the sound. That little beep. That's not just confirmation that your payment went through. That's part of a larger design approach to make payments feel smooth, secure, and complete. A little cue that says, you're good to go. Behavioral economists call this transaction utility, the pleasure you get from the act of buying itself, separate from whatever you're actually buying. The card taps, the screen flashes, it all adds up to a moment that feels successful. Designers test this stuff carefully. That click when you insert your chip, that smooth glide when you swipe, the sound effects, it all reinforces your confidence at checkout. Honestly, it's kind of like getting a gold star for being an adult.
Here's something kind of weird. If you think about it, we treat physical cash like treasure. Count it, fold it, and stash it.
But we'll carry around cards with 5-figure credit limits like it's no big deal. And that's the power of perception. The monopoly money effect. Some psychologists have this theory called the monopoly money effect.
The more abstract money becomes, the less real it feels, and the easier it is to spend.
Clearly, these psychologists have never played at my family game night. If my aunt gets hotels on Boardwalk, someone is sleeping outside. Think about it. With cash, you hold the value. You count it, you feel it. It has texture, weight, even a cent. But a credit card, that's future money, invisible money, sometimes wishful thinking money. And the idea isn't just a theory.
Carnegie Mellon actually did this wild study where they had people bid on sports tickets. One group was told they'd pay in cash, and the other paid in credit card.
And the credit card group bid 83% more on average. Same tickets, wildly different price tag. The researchers found that paying with a card actually changes how we value money. Our brains process card payments so much differently than cash that what feels like the same purchase doesn't feel like the same cost. The credit card limit illusion. Here's a fun one. Just knowing you have credit can make you feel wealthier, even if you don't use it. Researchers at Duke University found something fascinating. Just knowing you have access to credit, even if you don't plan to use it, can shift how you spend. That sense of financial cushion makes small purchases feel less risky. I have a $10,000 limit, so this $8 smoothie basically just pays for itself, right? But here's the thing. Not everyone has that kind of access. Credit isn't universal. For many people around the world, even small purchases come with real calculation and real trade-offs. Understanding how these systems shape our behavior and who they serve helps us all make more thoughtful choices. Whether you're using credit, debit, cash, or something in between, financial confidence means different things to different people. Why we trust a piece of plastic. Take a moment and think about it. Why do we trust these plastic rectangles so much? They're just tiny slabs of plastic with some numbers on them. But swipe, dip, or tap one, and groceries get paid for. Tuition gets covered. Rent, flights, family support, all handled by this little card. It's kind of wild. If you tried explaining credit cards to someone from a few centuries ago, or maybe even just your great-grandparents, they'd probably stare at you like you've lost your mind. But here's the thing. We trust cards because they work. You can tap a piece of plastic in Nairobi and it just works in New York. And that's not magic. That's decades of infrastructure quietly doing its job. Every card swipe relies on a global network of banks, payment processors, and tech platforms working in sync, often in a matter of seconds. And that level of coordination is rare in life. And yet, we barely think about it. The awareness advantage.
Here's the good news. Just understanding how spending habits work can help you make better choices. Economists call this the awareness advantage.
Studies show that when people understand the psychology behind spending, they tend to overspend less, sometimes by as much as 20 to 25%. And not because they stop spending, but because they start making choices with more clarity. It's kind of like the moment in a time travel movie when the protagonist realizes, wait, I can change things, and then stops themselves from buying yet another novelty kitchen gadget. Everyone's got their own way of keeping spending in check. Some people budget, some set app alerts. My friend, she keeps a photo of her grandma in her wallet. Not smiling, not judging, just quietly reminding her to think twice before impulse buying a third pair of headphones. It's not about guilt, it's just about mindfulness. Sometimes a little nudge from someone who taught you the value of money goes a long way. Conclusion.
Credit cards are just tools. Really convenient, powerful tools. And like any tool, how we use them matters. Around the world, people rely on them to book tickets, support loved ones, buy that extra cookie.
The key isn't avoiding them, it's understanding how they shape the way we spend, so we can make choices that fit our real goals. So the next time you tap your card and hear that satisfying chime, think of it less like a temptation and more like a checkpoint, one that says, do I actually need this? And if the answer is yes, enjoy the cookie. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more content that tackles topics that I think are worth discussing. Drop a comment with what you'd like to see next. I'm always up for covering something new.